All right, this is my audience and their forms they're filling out. And here we go. All right, all video games are fun for people of all ages. But are video games meant for people of all ages? I believe so. It depends if they are appropriate enough for that age group. Hello, my name is Alexander Elizalde. I love playing video games whenever I get the chance. I major in education at Northwest Vista College. And here we go. I play video games here and there. I'm speaking about my relevance a little bit. I have a 2-year-old son as well, but I never let him watch my video games because at night I play a series of first-person shooter games in certain lobbies that involve guns and violence. And more times than not, I come across children in these lobbies. And I start to wonder, why are they in these lobbies? So, today we shall explore some topics with violence in video games, what we can do to manage it or better filter it, and how we as parents can do a better job of choosing better games for our children. Now, starting with the normalness of violence that is found amongst the youth and the video games. Violent video games. Violence in video games is common and normal amongst the youth, according to an article by the Harvard Medical School commentary. They also state that in 2008, the Pew Research concluded that 97% of children through the ages 12 and 17 have played some kind of game. And out of all those kids, 2/3 of them have played a game that involves violence. And that's an awful lot of kids. Now, let's take a look at the issues raised with these kids that play violent video games or have been exposed to some kind of violent media. Violence in video games heightens aggression. According to an article found on procon.org, in 2014, a study published found that 90% of pediatricians and 67% of parents agreed that the kids they raise and the pediatricians that come across these children have heightened levels of aggression. Critics also claim that violent video games desensitize children to real-life violence. And what that means is violence becomes normal to these kids. As in, when they see violence in these video games, it starts to become a normal thing. And then in reality, you as a parent would want them to take this serious. You don't want them to find violence as a normal thing. You want them to take it as a serious thing, not to be desensitized and be like, oh, it's nothing. Also, violence in video games raises the likelihood of children bullying one another in person and offline. And personally, I've seen this both. Back when I was in grade school, I would see these children behave in correlation to these violent video games more aggressively, as well as witnessing and listening to this stuff online. Now that we know the outcome, let's look at some of the solutions to this and how we can better filter this type of violent media. Parents can limit and choose better games for their children that are age appropriate. According to an article called Monitoring the Media by Bernstein that he wrote back in 2019, he stated parents need to lessen the time spent on any screen or video games. And they also need to incorporate games that don't involve violence. For instance, there's games that have racing, puzzles, games like competitive party games. There's so many titles out there, and it's titles like Fall Guys. These games don't have any violence in them and can be a great alternative to your child or someone or for future parent references. Also, this article also states that children older than 2 years old need to spend less than 2 hours a day behind a screen, including video games. The outcome of every child when exposed to violent media is always going to be different. Some might not have aggression, some might. But in result, it is never going to be a good one when you expose children to violence. So why not put a stop to it now? Now that we have learned about violent video games, the issues it raises, and what we can do as parents to better filter this type of media or for future parents, I hope that you see all this in a better light and just have a better understanding overall. And I understand there are bigger issues when it comes to parenting, but I see this being a common one and an easy one that we can easily solve and better the future for our children and the children of this world. And thank you. And I just need to show you real quick in the speech. Let's see. All right, my members are still here. All right, thank you.